And then also you can watch it whenever you want. So does everyone have their handout, the workbook that I sent out? Yay! Yeah, that's going to be a part of what we're doing. So I can't see Susan or Benita or Addie, but hi guys. How are y'all doing? So for Susan and Addie, I know Benita knows me and y'all, this is my mom. But she's doing awesome. She learns so much, so I thoroughly enjoy that she's on here. So so we're gonna get started. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys so we can actually get this webinar going. Okay, so this is something that I've been running into a lot lately with the women I've been working with, and after reflecting a lot too, it's what I went through and something I have to continue to work on, because it's so easy that we get stuck in these cycles of, you're doing well, you're focused, you're gung-ho about it, and then something happens, or something, I don't know, stirs up the pot a little bit, and then you kind of get back into old habits. And so and then you're like, oh, I have to start all over again. And then you try again. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to break that cycle. This is why you are here. And you're going to learn a lot in this, however long, hour and a half it's going to take to help out with this. So first, I want this to be interactive. So if y'all are open to that, I would enjoy. This is how it works with my my ladies. Hey, with my clients, we have a setup like this. When we have our group calls, I kind of call on you because I want you to really start to stretch and grow, and not just kind of stay by the sidelines anymore. Let's start tackling a lot of these issues right now and start moving forward. So, hi, Tracy. Hi. Didn't know who else had popped on. Didn't say the name. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to share my story, and then I'm going to kind of pick out a little bit about, and a few of y'all, if y'all are willing to share. So my story was that I was always going to be sick. There was always something wrong with me. I would even dream about it a while ago, and it was the only dream I ever had. I didn't dream very much when I was on my thyroid medication. I dream a lot more now, which is one of the weirdest, I feel like, side effects of medication is not dreaming. It's a different story. But I always felt like I was always going to be sick. There was always something wrong with me. And it wasn't honestly until recently that I've shifted out of this mindset of I'm not always going to be like this. So for some, it might be I'm always going to be at this weight, or I'm always going to feel this pain, or I'm always going to be on this medication. It's going to be different for everyone. But for me, there was always going to be something wrong. From high school, I had a spiral fracture to my humerus, my upper bone. It was a nasty break. And then not much longer after that, I tore 4 ligaments in my left knee. I went off to play college. I ended up being told I had thyroid issues, right? I had to have half my thyroid out. I had, there was always something. Then I had my anxiety. Then I had migraine. Then I had panic attack. And then I had heart, so there was always something going on. And it's like, okay, when do I get a break, right? Why can't I get out of the cycle of just being me and not having this define me? So I'm going to go ahead and meet everyone up right now until, and then we can end later. So what I had to do, and my dream that I had was actually I would be walking down a sidewalk. The sidewalk would open up and I'd fall down. And then a little bit later I'd pop back up because I did pop back up. No matter what was thrown my way, I did get back up, right? I never let it really get me down. But I guess I did because I kept reliving it in a different way. So that was my story that I had to figure out how to break free from. Because now I don't have this anxiety. I don't have migraines. A couple days ago, I had a little tinge of a headache. I took some cod liver oil, it was gone. Like simple as that. So that never, ever could have ever happened in the past. So you can get out of whatever funk haze that you're in. It is totally possible to get out of that. But unless you break free and kind of notice what your story is, you're going to continue reliving it. Like I said, everyone's story is something different, but we need to go through and figure out what your story is. So, does anyone feel brave enough to go through and kind of work with me to figure out, if you don't already know your story, kind of let's work and figure this out? Or if you know your story, let's share it. Let's go. Anyone want to raise their hand or unmute and share? If not, I have a couple people I might pick on. All right, I'm going to unmute Tracy. Yes. So Tracy's one of my Chronic Disease Health Reset Academy clients, and she's doing amazing. And right now she is working on her story. So Tracy, do you want to share what's been going on? What your story is?
What my story is? I'm not really sure what my story is.
Okay.
So I probably need help with that.
Okay.
I'm just a very stressful person right now, so that is probably my biggest thing.
Well, right now your story is uncertainty, right? As you're trying to find clarity.
Absolutely.
On things. I guess that's more of it. And do you feel like you've had moments of like this in your past too? Not this exact situation, but
yeah, different stages in my life. I mean, obviously, you do go through that. You're kind of like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get through this stage? And I'm probably at that stage in my life again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The ups and downs of life, and I think I'm kind of trying to get out of the lower part right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how I want you to share with everyone how you're getting out of that. What did we, the last call? I mean, I know you weren't on the last call, but I don't know if you went and watched it again.
I did.
Okay. So what we're trying to do is you're focusing on the positive things, right? The things that you want to be happening, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are those things?
Well, I started that packet that you sent us. I was working on that this morning.
Good.
So like what self-love means to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So really taking care of myself first. I don't have anyone. I don't have children that I have to look after. So I'm fortunate that I need to start taking care of myself and not like coworkers or fiance.
Mm-hmm.
Eating right. I love to read. I love to walk. I love to do my Zumba class. I love to be with my friends and laugh. And I love yoga. And
so these are all the things that you're starting to do more and make sure that it's happening. These are the things that you're like, I'm looking forward to. I'm doing them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I need to start scheduling them. That's the thing, like the high and low, like I was scheduling all these things. And then, I got sick in the beginning of the year, and then a week from the gym went away, and, another week. And then I've kind of fallen off all that again.
Yeah. Well, maybe your story is that you don't put yourself first and you've always put everyone else, because I think that was something that we talked about on our one-on-one was needing to make sure that, okay, you are that number one person in your life, and instead of everyone else being it. So I think that's awesome that you're working on that right now, because that is the first step into not having these issues again, right? Because if you if you were always putting yourself first and asking yourself, does this make me happy? Does this serve me? Is this, is this what I'm wanting? Excuse me. Then we would have more of, some more clarity, and we'd have less of these moments, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And when certain things happen, I'm like, this needs to be a non-negotiable. Like, this is not okay. Like that's a non-negotiable. I need to not let that happen. And but saying that and doing it are totally different.
Yeah. But now we're aware of it.
I'm aware. That's what I'm like.
That's a huge first step.
Yeah. So it's implementing how to go about that to be a non-negotiable. But I'm happy that I'm saying, okay, wait a second. Yeah, not okay.
Is that first step of realization of that what you're wanting? Right. Yes. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Tracy.
Thank you.
So what Tracy is basically saying is she's getting herself out of this circle right now that she's on. So healthy habits are formed through trust, right? Because when you love yourself, you trust yourself. You trust that you're going to do what's best for yourself. You trust what you're doing is right, and you're trusting that you're doing what you want to do to make yourself happy. But a lot of times what we're doing is we're starting right here at, I'm afraid that I'm always going to have this and be this way, right? She could change this to I'm afraid that I'm always going to have this and be this way. That's why that's why we start doing something, right? Is a lot of times out of fear. Then this drives you into this being healthier. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm getting it. It's like that little, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And you start doing everything. And then you come down here and you become healthier, but you're afraid you'll slip back into old habits, right? So you're afraid, okay, I'm doing it, but I'm not really seeing the results I'm wanting to see right now. Something else happens, and I'm afraid that if I eat this, then it's going to throw everything off. Or if I don't work out, something, bad's going to happen. I'll gain 5 pounds. Or, if I don't take this supplement, I forgot to take this supplement. Whatever, my thyroid's just screwed, I'm always going to be stuck with having this situation, this thyroid issue for the rest of my life, right? And so we get back up here into, we're thinking about all the times the things we don't want, and this actually makes it a reality because what you're focusing on is what you don't want, and then reality is what you don't want becomes that reality. So what Tracy was just saying is, and we're going to get to those non-negotiables. That's something I don't even know where I picked it up at, but that's something that I tell my ladies that we have these things that we must be doing every day to prevent, whatever it is from happening, to prevent something or to give us closer to the goal that we're wanting to do. And so that's what she's talking about, is she's starting to realize, I need to be doing some of these things. And she's not being afraid of it now because she's getting excited because she's looking forward to what she's wanting, instead of going, I'm scared I'm going to be like this. It's, I need to do this. I'm excited because this will give me the result I'm wanting. So that making sense to everyone? Yeah. Does that sound familiar? So we need to know that these healthy habits are built on trust. So if you don't trust yourself, if you're constantly living in that fear, those habits you're going to get sucked right back into the cycle. Sucked right back in. So we need to start learning how to trust. So I'm going to go through and ask everyone what self-love means to them, means to you, but also imagine someone who actually really loves themselves, someone who is so happy with who they are, they're at peace. What does that mean? What does that mean? So, Fanita, I don't know if you're able to talk. You're unmuted already. So, what does self-love mean to you?
To me, it means taking care of yourself so that you can take those around you, taking care of others but taking care of yourself first so that you can take care of those around you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's go with Mom. Yeah. What is self-love? Yes.
Yep, that's pretty much what I was going to say. If you love yourself, then you can take care of everyone else even that much better.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But what is it exactly of self-love though? Like, does it mean happiness? Does it mean that you're,
Well, I think it would have to be all of all of it. You do both your nutrition. If you're going to make yourself healthy,
mm-hmm.
then you're going to love who you are, and because of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I mean, here I am, it's like after all these years, you think, oh, you're stuck in the little rut here, doing everything you want to do and trying to dig yourself up out of that so that you have that
Mm-hmm.
self-love. I guess not being so critical of yourself.
Exactly. Right there. That's it. That's one of those huge ones. Because someone who loves themselves isn't talking bad about themselves, right? They're looking at themselves. I remember the first call we had with my academy students. One of them had this beautiful lipstick on it. It just like caught my attention. And I was like, when was the last time? I was like, first of all, I commented how beautiful she looked with that. But that was one thing that she wasn't doing to herself. She wasn't even like giving herself that until she signed up for the academy. Had she had done something that bold, put some bright lipstick on herself to bring up that self-confidence. So it just shows that sometimes it might take like a little like bit of, oh, okay, I'm going to do it. And then just look at yourself of like when you take that leap into something of how proud you are of yourself. And then when you are in that proud moment of what you've done, those accomplishments, and just reflecting even on some of the things that you've even done in the past and just remembering all that joy that brought you, all that right there, that is just self-love, because self-love, someone's not going to be in that negative state for a long time. They're not going to allow themselves to criticize themselves, to be unhappy, to be in that state for a long time. They're going to find ways to bring themselves out up here. That's right. I'll mute. So, Susan, I'm going to call on you if you are willing. What does self-love mean to you? I guess that's all right. If you don't want to, that's fine. So another thing that we need to start doing is figuring out, okay, what is it that someone who loves themselves, what are those routines that they're doing every single day? Are they sleeping in and barely being able to wake up to the alarm and drag themselves out, grab that coffee and have a hard start to the morning? Or are they refreshed because they put themselves in bed at a reasonable time, so they get up and are excited to start the day? They do their meditation, or they exercise, they go for a walk, bring the animals out. What is it that they do? So we need to be able to start saying, okay, if I'm stuck in this rut of I can't do this, or I'm stuck on all this, I can't do this, I'm always going to be like this. Start taking one thing in the morning that you can do that would bring you happiness, because that's what love is, right? Love is happiness. So that's what we're trying to achieve here. What is that one thing that we can do? And this will all be able to be tied in for sure. Everyone, things are jumping around. Okay, so Susan jumped off. It's okay. So every morning we want to see kind of what something is that we can start doing. So that's something whenever we're going through your list or your workbook, try to envision that, because that's what these are, these same questions off of or statements off your workbook. So that's what you're looking at trying to do, right? We're trying to get yourself into that happier state. And so when you're writing this out tonight, in the morning, whatever you want to do, give yourself that time and just visualize now. This is what we're doing, is a lot of this work is visualization. It's how do you want to feel when you get to that point? Because it doesn't really matter, like, yeah, when you reach that weight loss goal, that's awesome, but what is it going to bring to you? What is that feeling that's going to bring to you? That's what we want to be starting to achieve. And that's brought right at the beginning of the day. So we have to start these practices. And like Tracy was saying, these are those non-negotiables. These are those things that we're going to start doing every day to bring us to that happier state, to start getting us closer to that goal. So when a day or a situation is difficult, someone who loves themselves will, let's go back to, I don't know if Addie's here. Addie, I'm going to unmute you. You can tell me if you want to go or not, but when a day or situation is difficult, what would someone who loves themselves do? What is it that they can do to bring themselves into that happier, okay, get over this little hump?
I'm not quite sure. I would think that they would try to be positive and maybe try to do something that would make them feel happy.
Exactly. Right there. It's so simple, but we don't do it, right?
No.
We don't do this. When we're in the state, when something happens, what is your typical response?
My typical response, I'm an emotional eater, so I eat a lot.
Yeah, we turn to that comfort. And because that's our way of trying to make us be okay with whatever it is, right? We try to do something. I knew I had a client who did the opposite and would work out like crazy and ended up hurting her thyroid in that way because she just needed to work out. Same thing. I had another one, same thing. Go through binging episodes of that. So it's a way of coping, but what we need to do, kind of like what you said, it's so simple just to start thinking of, oh, someone who, when this happens, I just need to remove myself from the situation, step it aside, and then you start looking into all this positive. Okay, what else can I do that would bring me joy? What would bring me happiness? So if you have those situations where you want to turn to that emotional eating, is there something every day that you could do that would bring you something happy, like that would bring you joy?
I'm not sure.
Like one of my clients, she went into photography. She's like, yeah, I used to love taking pictures. I was like, well, I think your walls need some updating. And so that's what she's doing now. She's just taking some time every day to go take pictures of flowers, of, trees, whatever it is. Tracy, I know we had talked, you were going to be starting to prep a little bit to open up some time for yourself for walking the dogs more, or just taking more time out. So it doesn't have to be something huge or big. When I have those situations, I go walk the dog or I go out into the garden. I remove myself from that issue, and then you put yourself in a positive state. And that's what you're trying to do, Addie, when you turn to food. That's what you're trying to do anyways. It just needs to be another alternative that's gonna, because food should never be a reward, an emotional thing, right? So we need to just figure another route to bring you into that joy. So after all of that, is there anything that you could think of? Did anything pop into your head that you could do?
No, because it'd still be food. Like, I really enjoy to cook and bake. So it always turns to food.
It always turns to food. Yeah, that's not too bad. But baking is, I totally get that. Baking is therapeutic for me too. Let's see. Maybe it's something, do you have something unrelated to food that we could do? Do you like to read a book? Do you enjoy going for a walk?
Not really. My time's pretty much consumed with working kids and husband.
Yeah.
So I don't really do me time.
Yeah. And that's what that's what we're here for, because that's where we get lost in all of this, right? Because we're doing so much for everyone else that we're so unhappy because our love cup is empty. We haven't done anything for ourselves. And it could be something as simple as, while the kids are napping, you go sneak a bath. Or, you know, something, it doesn't have to be big. Or you even, while the kids are sleeping, you paint your nails, you know? It doesn't have to be anything really big, but something that will bring you in, like, 'cause you like look at your feet and you're like, oh, that actually looks good. I'm proud I did that. That's all. It's an improvement of what I looked like before to where I am right now. So something simple like that might be a try first, and kind of like what Tracy was talking about in the beginning is that she's at a point right now where it's not yet really happening all the time, but now she's aware of it. So I would think that that's just going to be something for you to know, like when you go through those, you know, episodes of that emotional time of eating, just being aware of it is going to be the first step for you, and just being like, oh, maybe there is something else, or maybe there's like what I do to occupy my time, so I don't slip into a funk. Basically, is I enjoy redoing furniture too, like, or building something, or painting, you know, just giving something an uplift. I don't know what the right terminology is, but yeah. So right now I'm building a shelf for my office, because I feel at the very end of that, I feel so good and accomplished about myself, and so it gives me something to look forward to. So like I said, it doesn't have to be, I mean, that is kind of a big task, but it doesn't have to be anything huge. But I do want you to start thinking of, when I go through these emotional times, or when I have these difficult times, there's something else I can turn to that gets your mind off of it, basically. But the thing is that we're not going to totally ignore it. So I don't want y'all to think that what I'm saying is that we're going to ignore what the problem is. We're getting there. But I'm now just kind of want to prime you guys to start thinking, this is the way that we need to start realizing that we're going to have these negative thoughts, we're going to have these hard times, but it's now when someone comes in a difficult situation that loves themselves, they don't allow themselves to stay in that situation long. They don't allow themselves to be in that pity party for a long time. They do things to get themselves happy. They do things to get themselves out of it. Because like I said, it's gonna happen. There's gonna have hard times. You're gonna have issues. There's gonna be days where you just feel like you can't do anything at all, and that you're helpless. But it's up to you and you alone to get you out of that state. And so we have to be the ones aware that we're in charge of this funk. we can either stay in it, or let's change this and let's work on getting our way out of it. So right now, when you're in a difficult situation, Addie said we turn to food. Let's see, Susan, I see that you're back. Right now, when you're in a difficult situation, what is it that you're doing right now? I think she froze. Of course. Let's go into, I'll go to Gail.
Okay, well, I looking back too, thinking of, well, when you were just little kids, since all my children are grown, I would definitely try to just get something to include them in everything. So that way I'm not sitting there thinking about whatever I'm frustrated about. So I try to create something to distract me from it, even though it's still there. But with the kids around, I was able to do something different. And then once they were settled, like you say, nap time or whatever, take time for myself, whether it would be reading or journaling was what helped me a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, I have so many journals that are not even half full, and I keep getting more. And I just write through those, or even draw, and even to try to get the kids into doing something like that. They can, if they're little, they can draw a picture book or something, and that'll keep them occupied while you're trying to do something. Or
I actually just did that yesterday. They both found my stapler and made books. Well, when I was putting some of the stuff together. So yeah.
Have little bins for them, craft bins or something.
Yeah. But the cool part is that it's you're still aware of that you're needing that time for yourself. Yes. But by them, you know, when the kids are happy, you're happy too.
Happy.
So You're not going to get
You
into
know, it was
this.
always going outside and working in the garden and giving them a tool to go have their little space to do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
That kind of kept me focused more on other things to do my stuff, you know.
Yeah, yesterday we had a water fight together. And so they helped water the grass.
Sure.
Yeah, so you have to, you're in charge of feeling good. You're in charge of putting yourself into that happier state. No one else is.
Well, I figure that even waking up in the morning, it's like you choose happy, you know, choose that when you wake up. And I always think of people that say, oh, I can't function until I have my first cup of coffee. Well, I'm not a coffee drinker, so maybe I don't understand that, but I thought, to me, that's a cop out. You just get up and get yourself going, and your day needs to be started. So you get going on it. And whether that you go and take a hike, you know, go walking or whatever, you do too. So.
Yeah, because you're making that effort. Okay, this is what I need to do. This is my non-negotiable.
Right.
So one thing that's really powerful. Thank you. That was good. One thing that is really powerful is when you're in that negative space. A lot of times, what we want to do is we just say, "I don't have time for this. I can't do this." Right? I can't do whatever it is. So part of the journal, that workbook that you have, this is inside of it. And in here, this was like the task that really was like my Oprah aha moment. This was what really just made sense to me, because if you're constantly saying, I don't have time for this, you know, or I can't do this, you're putting out there that you can't. You're already set yourself up for failure, right? When you've done that. So what we need to start doing is realizing you're gonna have that negative space. Those negative thoughts are gonna come in. There's no way around it. We don't have control over that part, but what we do have control over is what we do with that. So what I want y'all to do right now, if you have a pen in your paper, is go through something that, go through the negative space side of this, and I want you guys to go through and start writing down what you've been telling yourself. What are these things that you've been wanting to do, or those health goals that you've been wanting to do, but you're talking yourself out of? What is that inner mean girl in you saying? I'll give you all a couple minutes to do this. Like I said with mine, if you need some inspiration, mine was, my story is, I'm always going to be sick. I'm always going to have something wrong with me. That was something I told myself all the time. All the time. And I didn't even know I was I never really realized it until I did this work and actually started writing it out. I just always thought that I'd always have something wrong with me, because that's what my history showed me. That's what my story was. So does anyone want to go ahead and share something that we can work through and find a way to have a positive spin on that, so that way when that negative thought does come up, we have the power to rephrase it and retrain your mind. And it's like, if you wanted to lift weights and get that muscular build of your body, you're going to have to work on that and train, right? And do that constantly. It's not a one-time thing in doing it. So this is going to be something that we have to retrain your mind, and you have to retrain your brain to be able to say, okay, I recognize these negative thoughts, but I'm going to turn it into the positive. And so that's where Tracy was saying that she's at right now. She's recognizing that she's having these thoughts. And that's one thing, is that, like I said, there's always going to be that fear, that doubt that comes up. But now what we're starting to realize is, now we have the power and control over that thought, and we can change that so we can rewrite our story. So I'm going to go first and give you the example right here. And then, like I said, if anyone wants to share what they just came up with, definitely do that. So a client recently told me, I don't have time to work out because I have the kids all day and then we just got done remodeling. I just don't have time to do that anymore. And that's really like, that was the last thing she needs to do, that last little component to get everything to that life that she's wanting. And so what we came up was there's always more than enough time for me to work out because it's important to me. And so what we did, ended up finding a way, because we knew that was important to her. So we just rearranged her schedule a little bit. That was it. We just actually made her have a schedule, put that down in her phone, so that way she scheduled it in. She scheduled time in with her kids. She scheduled time for herself. So there's always time. There's always more than enough time for me to get the things done that are important to me. So there's, all right, does anyone want to share their negative space? Has anyone come up with one yet?
I think the big thing with me is that I'm not working now and I'll be home. It's like, oh, I could do it tomorrow. And then it doesn't get done tomorrow. So it's like, oh, I get it done, the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I guess, just making myself do that.
Yeah.
So this is my plan for today.
Yeah. This is my one thing I get to do today. And
Right.
then afterwards, I have all the time to do everything else I want to get done.
Sure.
Right? And it goes back to that right there, exactly what you said. If y'all haven't heard of Eat That Frog, it's a book by Brian Tracy. I listen to it on Audible frequently because, again, I'm always looking to retrain my brain to train it for the positive things. And really what you're saying right there is that you have this task that you really don't want to do, so you're pushing it off.
Right.
And then you feel bad that you don't do it, so you avoid it, and then it just kind of keeps getting further and further away. So the thing about, this is kind of a little off of this, but I'm just going to throw it in anyways. But the thing about that is that with that book, one of the things he says, and the reason why it's called Eat That Frog is that no one wants to eat a frog. No one wants to eat a frog. It's disgusting. So we're going to eat the ugliest frog the first thing in the morning, right? Because get that task out of the way that you're putting off, that you're just kind of like, I don't really know if I really want to do it right now. You're going to eat your ugliest frog in the morning. And that's what, going back up here, where am I? Here. The morning one, wherever it is. Anyways, that's what they're going to do in the morning. Someone who loves themselves, someone who's successful, knows that they're not going to put themselves through that feeling of procrastination, that feeling of I didn't do it. They're not going to put themselves through that. So someone who loves themselves isn't going to let themselves be in that situation for days. So we need to make sure that that is something that you tackle first. And I'm not saying that you don't love yourself at all. Don't worry. But that's really what we need to focus on, is say, okay, if I'm realizing I'm putting it off, let me just get it done and over with, right? It's like ripping a Band-Aid off. Do it fast and get it over with, and then you can move on, and you have all this time in the rest of the day to do everything else that you want to do. So, but if you're sitting in that space of, oh, I have to do this, I don't want to do this, nothing really gets done.
I
And
guess
then
you could just plan on an hour or something each day, if it, until it does get done. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that's exactly right here. There's always more than enough time for me to get things done that are important to you. So just know that if it's something that you know that it's important that you need to get done, shoot it out first. Get that thing first thing done in the morning, and then you have the rest of the day to do whatever. So, Fanita, were you able to write out your negative stuff?
Yeah, well, it's almost exactly just what Ms. Gail was saying. Where I tend to do something, I'll do it tomorrow, and then it just gets away from me. And then, but my bad thing is, because I say that, okay, I'm not going to do it, I don't have time for it today, and I'll do it tomorrow. Then I do other stuff that fills it in with empty stuff, like Facebook, or like, watching TV and stuff like that, stuff that isn't important.
Yeah, because we're afraid, right? We're in that fear of, I don't know if I want to do this, or I don't know if I can really do this. right? Is it something like that that you're?
I think, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm not sure why. I'm just like, I tend to procrastinate, and then I feel it on with stuff that doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that's something like right here that kind of still goes back to this right here. There's always more than enough time for me to get things done that are important to you. So we just need to make sure we're making it a priority, and I'll teach you how to do that here in just a second. So does anyone else want to share a negative space?
I can.
Okay.
I couldn't talk a while ago. I was sitting in an orthodontist chair.
Oh, yeah, that would be bad.
I always say that I don't have time to get organized, but being unorganized is causing me more hassles.
More stress.
Sorry. Yeah, way more stress. Like, I don't know where I put things, but I need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a solution for that right now.
Yes.
But I need one. I mean, I could possibly hire somebody to help me or ask a family member to help me or something, but I really need to get organized.
Mm-hmm. So your negative space is I don't know what to do because I'm so disorganized, right? You don't even know where to start.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I just put it in the other room and close the door and pretend it doesn't need to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. So very similar to what Gail and Fanita were saying, right? You're just kind of putting it off. And so right now, the positive space that we need to, every time you that thought comes into your mind, all you have to say is, all I need to do is start. And once I start, it's going to be so much easier for me. Right?
Yeah. It's just kind of overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like with anything. This is what I like, for example, Tracy's off right now, but she's in my chronic disease health reset academy. So that way I have that structure is step by step, right? We have to do one thing at a time. If I were to shove everything at them and said, hey, you learn this mindset thing, you learn nutrition, you learn how to meal prep, you learn all of this all at the same time, how do you think they do? I mean, you'd fail, right? If you were going to tackle that house and do it all, and you're just like, I need to tackle it, and you're saying it so broad like that, of course, I don't know where to start. There's so much to do. It's like you're juggling 10, balls at the same time. All we have to do is make a list, and like I said, we'll get there. I might as well just go do it right here. But this is what Tracy was talking about. It was the non-negotiables. We have to start going through and setting our intentions for the month, for the week, and daily. And those are even our to-do lists. So I want y'all at the beginning of every month to set your intention for that month. What is it that you want to do for that month? What is it that's going to get you all excited about, right? What is that big goal? For you, Susan, is I need to get, I'm getting organized by the end of August, because when I get at the end of August, I'm going to celebrate. And the way you celebrate, you can think of it as a reward if you want. I like to think of it just mini celebrations. But we need to start celebrating your daily wins. We need to celebrate your weekly wins. We need to celebrate your monthly wins, right? So get yourself excited. Start doing things so for you, on a daily thing, it would be make a to-do list of 3 things that you want to get done. Just 3. Not overwhelming, right?
Well, right now, my day is filled with work for about 10 hours every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do make lists and I check them off. And the list is, dozens and dozens of things that have to be done. And by the time I get through doing all the things I have to do because of the job,
mm-hmm.
I don't have any energy left to do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, but we need to set, maybe even then for you, it's just one thing that you can do. What if you woke up 20 minutes early and you're like, what? Wake up early? What if you woke up 20 minutes early to tackle that room that you said that you shoved something in, and you tackled a corner and that was it. And just for 20 minutes every day, that's all you had to do is 20 minutes of organizing, and that's it. In that one room, that's it. And every morning, that's all you had to do is 20 minutes. And if you could give yourself 20 minutes every morning, that would lessen the load, right?
Yeah, I just need to schedule it.
Yeah.
And decide to do it.
Yeah, because that's your ugly frog. That's the thing that you're not wanting to tackle, right? You keep pushing it off. It has to be done in the morning. Like you're figuring out by the end of the day, it's not happening. There's nothing going to happen at all. So 20 minutes is totally doable. So when you think about it, that short amount of time, right? Are you scheduling it right now? Please tell me you are, because that would be awesome.
I'm trying.
Yes. Good for you. Good job, right? All right. So we'll get back down to here, but that's what I'm wanting you to start thinking of. This is how the cycle starts to break, right? Y'all are seeing how we come out of this. Okay. So take some more time. I mean, obviously, you guys are kind of a short amount of time, but take some time to really go through these and start thinking about, like you're noticing, it's not all health related, right? It's a lot of other stuff that's happening that's preventing you from putting your health and yourself first. So we have to realize that there is time for everything else too, including you. So, but what happens is that your past experiences are shaping your thoughts, and then you get your feelings from those. So you keep, and that's why we were saying how important it is for you to start going into that we're switching, right? This is what this is all about, is we're switching from going, because right now our goals are, let's say your goal is to lose 10 pounds by September. And so this is your goal, but your negative space, you'll still have a possibility of reaching that goal. It's going to be a struggle, but it's still a path to that goal, right? Or it's like a railroad track. Let's just switch the track and go down a different road with a little bit more ease. And so that's what we're trying to do right now, is realizing, okay, we have those negative thoughts. They're totally fine. But now we just have to kind of switch the way we're thinking and reword it into a positive space. Because of this right here, if we continue to think all those negative thoughts, we're going to continue to be down on ourselves. We're going to continue to criticize ourselves. We're going to continue to relive our old stories, because that's what you're focusing on. And what you're focusing on, it becomes a reality. It 100% does. So what if your past experiences weren't the best though, right? What if, like with me, what if it was always like, I was always being sick, I was always having issues, right? What if your past experiences are negative? So how do you go about going from this negative to the feeling better? It goes all right here back to this, right? It goes all back to, you're going to have those negative thoughts, but we just have to work on it. We have to continue to put ourselves into a happier state. And sometimes what happens is that we actually start to have to actually face those issues that were causing us some of those harms, right? We have to actually write out and figure out, why was I reliving that story? Why was I stuck in that fear that I was always going to be sick? Why was I stuck in this fear that I'm never going to get better? I'm always going to have these issues, right? I was just reliving the story. So now what it's a very similar exercise, but you have to write out those fears. So this is more of something that I found when I work in groups. This one's really hard to do in a group setting. So definitely make sure that, like I said, tonight, take some time and really, really just allow yourself to write through this, and then come up with those positive statements to counter that. Because we have to retrain the brain to think of the positives. We have to. So those negative thoughts are going to come. Now it's just we're not going to give those negative thoughts momentum. We're not going to give it enough energy to let it keep going. So this is what I like to do, and this is why the goal setting comes into play. So this will be funny because just Mom, you'll enjoy this part. And this is another reason why I didn't take on Diane's table. So my goal is right now, I am happy and content where my health is. Yes, I'm always striving to be better, and that's why I continue to try new things, push myself when it comes to this. But my goal right now that I'm focused on is more of a business growth. And so my goal is if I, help so many women this month inside my academy, I'm going to reward myself with a wooden table out back that has a nice big green umbrella. And what I end up doing is I visualize myself sitting at that table. I visualize myself with my turmeric latte in the mornings, journaling. I visualize myself watching the kids playing on their play set underneath that umbrella. I visualize myself sitting out there at that table, eating dinner, enjoying the sunset. That's what I do. So whenever I have a self-doubt or a self-fear of something, that's what I go to is I want to think of something that I'm striving towards, right? I'm thinking of what I want to be doing when I reach that goal, right? So for someone that has a health issue that is trying to get out of it, like I was talking about a little bit earlier, we have these goals that we need to set. That's part of this, but that's a whole different exercise. But we have to be a goal setter. That's it. We have to be setting goals. But whatever that goal is, it can't be enough just to be, I want to lose that 10 pounds. Right? It can't be just that 10 pounds. When I lose those 10 pounds, I'm going to visualize myself on the beach, wearing that bathing suit, walking down, feeling confidence, not having to wear a cover-up. I'm going to feel that feeling of self-pride. That's what you want to visualize. And when you're thinking about your goals, whenever you have that negative thought of, I'm never going to feel good, I'm always going to be sick, I'm always going to have issues, I'm always doing that, think of something that the spin on positives of that, right? How about whenever I reach my goal, this is what I'm going to be thinking, this is what I'm going to be looking at, this is what, and just start to think about how that makes you feel. And then we have these positive outlooks, and then start to notice those thoughts that start to creep up in your head. You're going to start having less and less of those negative thoughts because what you're focusing on now is all these positives. So what you focus on becomes your reality, right? So focus on the positive. You're going to start having all these positive realities coming up. Literally, before, I don't know who it was, when I was about to get into the shower not too long ago, and I was like thinking to myself, I am so excited for all these women that are about to be on this call. Wouldn't it be awesome if I just had one more sign up? I literally felt my phone vibrate with a new subscriber email at that moment. It wasn't a fear of, oh my goodness, I'm not going to have enough ladies in this. It is, I am so thankful. I am so happy that I have all these women in it. And boom, right there, another one came in at that thought. And that's what you're going to start noticing. Things are going to start going your way and start happening for you by, you're going to start noticing those pounds off. You're going to start noticing less days. You're going to start noticing you're sleeping better. You're going to start noticing you're waking up more clear. And you're going to have that ability to be like, I can do this. I can change my eating habits. I can improve my health. I can start feeling good again. And that's where that self-doubt, but then also you want to know, if you do get stuck in here, now we know what to do about this cycle, right? We do know now that we're going to have those negative thoughts, but we can retrain that. So now that we can start going and saying, I can, right? I even right now, on my wall over here, I have an I Can poster, so I see it every single time I am looking at it. When I was at my old house, I would write it in soap or in eyeliner on my mirror. I can receive this. I can do this. And I would put all my positive mantras in there. It's like I said, you have to keep, the point of this is we're retraining our brains to think in the positive route. That's the simple thing. That's how we become healthy. That's how we get over these obstacles. That's how we get off medication. That's how we lose the weight. Is we have to be in this happier state, and we do that by believing in yourself and saying, I can. So I have a mirror in my office, and when I self-doubt myself, I no joke, I look at it and I say I can, and I tell myself how awesome you are. I look at myself and I compliment myself, because if I can't compliment myself and bring myself up, no one else has the right to do that. I have the right to be able to bring myself up to that. So I can. So this is where the whole, like we were talking about with Susan, this is where we need to start going into that goal setting. And the importance of living a healthy lifestyle is continuing to revisit those goals. And that's why it's important to not just to do it once a month. That's why it's important to revisit it at the end of the week, even at the end of the day. Did you do everything that you needed to get done for the day? If not, that's okay. But did you get did you at least eat your ugly frog, right? Did you do that? And if you ate your ugly frog, what was something good that you could celebrate with? And a lot of times my celebrations are, like I said, walking the dog, pulling weeds, allowing myself to have that time. I have dance parties a lot by myself. I had one earlier today with my daughter. She walked in while I was doing something and I was listening to music. So I just want y'all to realize that you can do all this, but you can also get discouraged unless you remind yourself of how awesome you are by celebrating. So that's one thing I feel like so many people forget, that, I'm not going to celebrate, I'm not going to reward myself until I hit my big goal. So we got to keep that momentum going by any little milestone that you hit, you celebrate, you reward yourself. Like I said, it doesn't have to be anything big at all. For me, when I reward myself, when I do my little weekly goals, it's something like I get an organic face wash that I've been looking at for a while, like something goofy that's not expensive or out of this, unreasonable, but it's something that I don't just give myself permission to do it all the time. It's something, and like I said, we're not rewarding ourselves with food. That's not what we're doing. We're celebrating, we're finding other ways besides food to get ourselves excited and happy. So I want y'all to do tonight, like I said, and at the beginning of the month in August, set your goals, set your intentions, and at the end of that, write down what you're going to do to celebrate at that monthly. What are you going to do at that weekly? Like I said, it might be a hot bath with candles, something simple. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but work towards that. Visualize yourself on that, so that way you have that momentum and have that excitement to keep working forward. So, and then like we said, these are the things that we have to do, and these are all mindset non-negotiables. I mean, when you are with me, you have a lot of non-negotiables as far as what I'll give you. And these are, like you said, these are the things that we need to be doing daily, but we also need to be looking for ways to increase our endorphins always. And we want to do this for a few reasons. One, it makes us feel good, duh, right? When we feel good, nothing's wrong, right? You can even handle bad news a little bit easier. But another thing endorphins do is it speeds up the recovery. It speeds up recovery. It allows your body to start repairing itself. So it's not just the nutrition, aspect of things. It is nutrition. There is a science behind this as well. So this all does tie in together. So if you are living in that stressed, I can't do this. Oh my goodness, Susan, your kitchen's beautiful. I love it. That's exactly what I would see. That right there, that's what I'm going to visualize. That's going to be my happy. That's my goal. I want a white kitchen or cream color. Love it. So that's what I want y'all to start doing is just try to find something every day that will bring you joy, that will bring you happiness. So that way you can start feeling good and start that healing process and start allowing your body and your mind to move forward and go into this. So this now means that you're ready. You're ready to start that transformation. You're ready to start working at becoming you, right? Because you know all these steps. You know what you need to do. And the cool thing about these non-negotiables, and this is why I love non-negotiables, is that everyone's non-negotiable is going to be different. Everyone's going to be different. But you can reflect back on these non-negotiables and say, man, I started getting my anxiety started creeping back up, or I started becoming disorganized again. And what is it? Look back on your non-negotiables and you can say, oh, I wasn't doing this. I forgot this part. I wasn't doing my endorphins. I wasn't telling myself how awesome I am. I wasn't celebrating. And, so those non-negotiables are awesome to keep you motivated, but also to allow yourself to realize that if something does happen, if you do slip up, it's okay. Let me figure out what happened. How do I get back on track? And that's what all you have to do. It's just, that does happen. If you did get on off track, don't dwell in it too long. Just know, all I have to do is pick this non-negotiable back up, and that's it. I can move right back on and start doing well. So, I do want y'all to know that this is a daily thing. This is something that is ongoing. This is not, some of y'all might have come in here because of my thyroid history. I don't know. But if I don't keep up my non-negotiables, I could for sure be put back on medication. 100% I could be put back on medication if I don't keep up with all of those. I must keep doing it every day. I must train my body to do this. I must train my mind to do this. I must train my eating habits to do this. And all that, this is what the word that we're wanting to do become. Once you start training at it, it just becomes a habit. It becomes second nature. It's not a big deal. It's just who you are now, right? It doesn't become, this is so hard. It's just a habit. So it does take about 30 days to develop a habit. So we're done, but I did want to let you guys know that I have my Chronic Disease Health Reset Academy that's going to give you that transformation that you're looking for. And it is 3 months long for a reason, because we're here to form habits, right? We're not here for quick fixes. This is something that you're wanting to do. You're wanting to have this healthy lifestyle for the rest of your life. That's the point of this, right? You're wanting to know, what do I need to do to help, lose that weight? What do I want to do to help, reduce the pain, to get off medication and to stay off of it, right? That's really what you're wanting to feel like. And now we have the tools to be able to do it, right? Now you know what it takes up here to be able to do that. I'm going to share with you everything that you need to know to give your body a health reset inside this academy. So like I said, it's my 3-month academy. Tracy's on the tail end of it. Hey, have you been on the whole time, Tracy? I don't know if you were here the whole time, but I just see you pop right back up. But yes, so she's on the tail end of it right now. And if I could ask Tracy, how are you? Kind of give, if you can, I don't know, I didn't ask you beforehand, but if you want to share your experience with the academy, I would love to have your insight of it to be able to share.
Yeah, no, I was really hesitant because it's something that I really had to commit to, and I'm really thankful that I have done it. I've really learned a lot of ways to make my life that much better. And it's like you said, it's not just eating, it's the whole package. I really am thankful that I did it and that I'm a part of it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's really been a fun thing to see everyone's growth in it too. And I mean, when we had our one-on, what?
The other girls that are in the group are really nice, and it's an encouraging experience.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. When you said like, oh yeah, I've been messaging, you know, her, I was like, oh, I love that. That was so cool that y'all built that like bond in there. So yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
but
I highly recommend it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So it's for those that are looking to kind of strip the old health beliefs. We start first with removing things that aren't serving you well. We remove, it's like our detox month. We're detoxing our emotions. We go through that on the first call, kind of like what we did briefly right here. And then also we go through and detox the body. So we give your body a chance to kind of like reset. That's why I call it a health reset. We're going to remove things that aren't serving you well, chemicals, pesticides, all that. And then you'll learn what nutrition is about. You'll learn the basics of that. And it's not difficult. I don't count calories. I don't encourage that. I make it very simple for you to understand what you need as far as your body. And that's really what gives you month 2 is we then now realize, okay, at month 2 now, my goal is to now customize it so I can start building, and I remove things that aren't working. My body's primed, ready to go. Month 2, we start building on it and customizing it. So we have a gut health week, a thyroid week, inflammatory. I remember the stress and anxiety was another one. So you'll learn the foods, the supplements, the techniques, all that that you need. And then like Tracy's in right now is the lifestyle month. So this week I just put out, I don't know if you saw, but I did a meal planning video. Tomorrow they'll have a meal prepping one. And the cool thing too is it's not just these videos. They also get, they have a good amount of meal plans. They get handouts. They get other tools to kind of help guide them. And it's not thrown at them at once. It allows them to have time to look at something, to read it, to start implementing it, and then build on what we need to do. Kind of like what Susan's at right now. She's like, I need to organize. I can't do this all at once. Well, we just need to start with one thing and start working on that, and then we can go on it. And that's really how I have this academy set up, is to give you the tools of, okay, this is where you're at right now. This is where we need to go. So we reconvene, and every 3 weeks out of the month we meet and we visit. We share celebrations. What was your successes? We work on what's going on with that week, and so that way everyone has a chance to really take that one-on-one time and realize, okay, I'm doing amazing. This is happening. I'm seeing that weight come off. Those inches are going, and time to celebrate. And then another, or if it's a situation where I'm not doing, we've had high weeks and we've had low weeks. Let's figure out, okay, if we're on a low week, let's figure out a way to get out of it and be a high week again. Let's figure out how to get yourself out of that. So it's definitely a support as well. So I did want to share that is available, and we start August 8th. So once you do sign up, you have the chance to go in and into everything right now. So I do have 3 different payment plans too. So it's definitely affordable for whatever situation you're in. Does anyone have any questions either about the academy or what we talked about for the last little over an hour, or what I talked your ear off with? Any questions?
Nicole, so
Yes.
when you talk about the self-talk and the positive talk, is there any books that you can suggest or recommend on that?
Yeah, the help. What I end up doing, there's a lot of books. So the one that like I said, the one that I really enjoyed for time management was the Brian Tracy Eat That Frog. Hands down, one of my favorite ones. Simple, easy read.
Say it again. I'm sorry, Brian Tracy.
Eat That Frog.
I'm sorry, I just securely started my phone keeps anything.
Oh, no, that's okay. Here, I'll put it in that there's a chat box. So that it's Eat That Frog.
I'll eat that frog. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, another one as far as working at, and so obviously the reason why I've done and have overcome a lot of this and can put something like this together is I do a lot of personal development like that. So I'm not an expert at all in this area, but I am realizing that nutrition, like Tracy was saying, nutrition's not all of it. That's not the whole thing. You really have this component of that. So another book, and it's just kind of going out of my head. It's the Dark Side of the Light Chasers. I think that's what it's called. What I can do is when I'm going to email y'all the replay, so I can put together a couple self-help books and put them in there and make sure I have the right title. But this book, and I forget the lady that Debbie or something. I forget.
Debbie Ford.
Debbie Ford. Okay, you found it. Okay. Yeah, Debbie Ford. It's an interactive reading. Like you have to like have your journal next to you and stuff to do. But I really enjoy it because it's kind of doing what we were doing here. Like we're opening up and realizing, hey, these are our flaws, our negatives, our fears. This is what it is. Now what we're doing is we're turning a positive spin on it. So what she says is a lot of times, and one of the biggest takeaways that I've gotten out of it is when I come up against someone that I butt heads with or have an issue with, it's because they have a plug, or you have an open wound, basically, and you're envious of what it is that they have. And so your open wound is like a plug. And she says it's like you're like an outlet. And so they just plug into you. And so you get all of that like energy of, oh my goodness, like I want to be like her. And that's why people are so envious of famous people, is they want to live that lifestyle, right? They want to do that. So when they see that person, that makes you feel like I'm not good enough. I didn't do well with my life. I didn't do as good because I'm not where they're at, because you're envious of them because you have that open wound. And so basically that's kind of like a little short clips of what some of the exercises that she does. But she makes you she digs it out of you. She pulls out what it is that you need to work through. And so she pulls out the dark side and has like a twist on it and makes you see that anything negative or any open wounds, there's a positive twist to that. So that one's a really good one for emotional. I enjoy that one. But yeah, I can go through and give you a couple other options for that as well. That's kind of a long explanation. Anyone else have any questions or concerns before we wrap up? No? No? Well, thank you so much, guys. This was so much fun. This is something that really fires me up, and I don't talk about all that much, but I feel like I need to, because like I said, like working with so many ladies, it's so awesome to be able to see this transformation really happen once the emotional part of things is tackled and looked at. So I really encourage y'all tonight, sit down with this workbook, go through it. And if you want to share in the Super Moms Eat Healthy group, that's a private group that, only ladies inside of that, share your experience. I'd love to see kind of what comes out of this, this work for you. So I'd love to kind of follow up, I guess, in a way. I want to see what you kind of do. So, and of course, I'd be honored to have you in the academy. So if you are looking at wanting to do the academy, reach out to me. We can talk. I have 30-minute assessment calls that we can just hang out, see if it's a good fit for you. And this kind of gives you a little bit of working with me, what kind of how my route, how I like to teach. So if you liked it, then I think it'd be a good fit. So y'all, like I said, I'm really excited. I hope y'all have a good day. I'm going to go to the YMCA with my family. We're going to go swimming and have fun. So, bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks. Bye bye.